Welcome back, students, to Chapter 3, Circle, Practice Set 3.4. Okay, students, so in our last video, we studied about cyclic quadrilateral and the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, and the statement is on page number 68 of your textbook, which quadrilateral will be called as a cyclic quadrilateral if all the vertices of a quadrilateral lies on the same circle, then it is a cyclic quadrilateral. So in this example where we have the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral, a circle where on the circle we have 4 points A, B, C, D. Okay, and with the help of these 4 points which are on the circle, we have drawn a quadrilateral, and therefore the quadrilateral ABCD becomes a cyclic quadrilateral. We also learned the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral, which says that the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Supplementary means 180 degree. So which are the opposite angles? Angle A and angle C. So according to the theorem, angle A plus angle C is equal to 180 degree, and also angle B plus D is equal to 180 degree. Okay, now this theorem which is there in the textbook is in the form of an activity. Clear? And I also told you all that in this particular theorem in the textbook they have not given the reasons, that is inscribed angle theorem. Okay, so you have to mention the reasons wherever required. Whichever theorem we are using, anywhere or any property we are using, we need to write the reason. Okay, so that correction I have told you all to do in your notebook. So since this is an activity sum, we cannot add. Okay, for example, here they have used inscribed angle theorem. Clear? But since they have not given here, we cannot add. As in my first video, I have told you that in a activity sum, we cannot add something from our side. Whatever is given in the sum, only those words we have to write. So in such activity sum, we cannot put the reason. But when you are writing a proof, a complete proof by yourself, where there is no activity, there are no boxes, then you have to mention the reason. Now here we have used inscribed angle theorem. So when you are writing the full proof by yourself, without any boxes, okay, when it is not an activity, then you have to mention inscribed angle theorem, then we are adding whatever we are doing. Okay, after this is a corollary of cyclic quadrilateral theorem. So what we have derived from cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Now the statement says that an exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral is congruent to the angle opposite to its adjacent interior angle. Now what is it? So if you see here, I have taken this one figure. This is a circle. There is a cyclic quadrilateral A, B, C, D, and this BC is extended up to E. Because we have extended BC up to E, we have got this angle which is outside, we call as exterior angle DCE. So according to the theorem says that this angle DCE, okay, is congruent to BAD. Okay, this one. That is the angle which is exterior angle. Okay, this exterior angle is congruent to the angle opposite to the angle adjacent to this exterior angle. Which is the angle adjacent to the exterior angle? This particular, and the angle opposite to it, this. So BAD is congruent to DCE. Okay, and this proof you can write. It's not given in the textbook, and you all have to do it. You all can first say that it's a cyclic quadrilateral. Therefore, by the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral, we can write that angle BAD plus angle BCD is equal to 180 degree. Cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Then we can write linear pair. Here we can see it forms a linear pair. Therefore, angle DCE plus angle DCB is equal to 180 degree. Now both the statements we have got equal to 180 degree. So when we compare two statements, first where we have used the cyclic quadrilateral, okay, sum of opposite angles is 180 degree, and second we have used linear pair is equal to 180 degree. So we can write from 1 and 2 statement BAD plus BCD is equal to DCE plus BCD. Now in the third statement, when we get BCD common, can be cancelled from both the sides, and we get the final statement BAD congruent to DCE. In this way we can solve. But looking at the figure and what is the property, you should know that this exterior angle which is formed by extending one side of the cyclic quadrilateral, that exterior angle is always equal to this angle here, which is in the interior and opposite to the adjacent angle to the exterior. Okay. After this is the converse of cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Now what is the converse of cyclic quadrilateral? We have studied cyclic quadrilateral. What does the cyclic quadrilateral say? That given is A, B, E, D. Sorry, it should be C. I have written here C, so even this will be C. Okay. So A, in a cyclic quadrilateral theorem, we have studied that they have given quadrilateral A, B, C, D is a cyclic quadrilateral, and we have proved that the opposite angles are supplementary. That is, angle A plus angle C is 180 degree and angle B plus angle D is 180 degree. That is a cyclic quadrilateral. Now what is the converse? The converse is they have given that the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are supplementary. So they have given here angle A plus angle C equal to 180 degree and angle B plus angle D is equal to 180 degree. And we have to prove that the quadrilateral is a cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, so this becomes a converse. Again, this theorem also you have to solve, which is given in the textbook. Now, after this, in your textbook on page number 70, they have given one more property, that is, if there are 2 points on a line. So in the figure they have given point A and point D are the 2 points on the line, and if this line subtends equal angles at 2 distinct points which lie on the same side of the line. So if you see this line AD, they are making 2 angles which are both are congruent angles. So angle ABD congruent to angle ACD. Okay, and on the same side of the line, they are on the same side of the line. Then we can say that these 4 points A, B, C, D are concyclic. Okay, I have explained you earlier also what are concyclic, the points which lies on the same circle. Okay, so these points are concyclic, we have to prove in this particular theorem. Now next, 2 properties of circle and the lines or 2 chords is that if there are 2 chords in a circle, so you can see here there is a circle, okay, with center, and there are 2 chords, chord AB and chord CD. So if 2 chords of a circle intersect each other in the interior of a circle, so you can see these 2 chords are intersecting in the inside of the circle or the interior of the circle, then the measure of the angle between them, okay, is half the sum of the measures of the arcs intercepted by the angle and its opposite angle. So what do you mean by this? Okay, the statement is given in your textbook on page number 71, and it is a activity based proof which you have to solve on your own on page number 71. But you have to understand that if there is a circle and there are 2 chords, okay, and they intersect in the interior, the intersection is point E, they are intersecting in the interior, then the angle between them is half. The angle is AEC, okay, and BED. AEC and BED are equal. And which are the other pair of angles? AED and CEB, which are equal. So according to the property that these angles which are formed, so if I take this angle, angle AEC, okay, is half of the sum is the addition, sum of the measures of the arcs which are intercepted by the angle and its opposite angle. So which are the arcs which are made or intercepted by this angle and its opposite angle, vertically opposite angle? So arc AC and arc BD. Okay, so if we are talking about AEC or even BED, then the arc which are intercepted by the angle AEC and its opposite angle BED is AC and BD. Their sum we have to take. Okay, and after we take the sum, we have to take the half. Okay, so angle AEC is equal to half major arc AC plus BD. Okay, in the same way, when we talk about these angles, if you are talking about this angle, I have written here CEB. Okay, and its opposite angle is AED. So angle CEB will be half of major arc BC plus AD, or AD plus BC. Okay, which is given here. Now the next property is when the chords intersect each other externally. Okay, you can see in the figure that there is a circle and you can see that there are two chords. Okay, there is a line actually which contains the chord. These are the lines which contains the chord AB and CD. Correct? They intersect each other outside the circle. Then what happened? Then the measure of the angle between them, okay, that is BED. You can see the measure of the angle between them, that is angle BED, is equal to half the difference in the measure of the arcs intercepted by the angle. Now what it is? It is equal to half. Now the angle which is between them, that is angle BED, is equal to half. You can see here written half. It is between is the half of the difference. Now there is no sum. It is the difference. Now what is the difference means? Subtraction. When we are talking about subtraction, we have to subtract these intercepted arcs. Clear? So when we are taking difference means subtraction of BD minus AC has to be written. Okay, and this is the case when the chords which contains the lines which contains these chords are intersecting externally. Okay, children. So these two properties are there. The chords which intersect internally and the chords which intersect externally. Okay. So here you will find there are four angles formed. So out of that, these two angles, this angle if we consider is equal to half of major arc AC plus BD. Opposite arcs. And here also angle CB is equal to half of major arc BC plus AD. So here is the sum. But here when they intersect externally, we have to take the difference. And which is the angle between them? There is only one angle you will see here, BED is equal to half of which arc you are going to write first. Naturally see this arc is a major arc and this is a minor arc. This major arc means a bigger arc and smaller arc. So if you see this is the BD is the bigger arc, so you will write it first BD minus AC. Clear? First sum in practice set 3.4, they have given the figure. Clear? There is a circle with center O. Then we can see that point A, B and C lies on the circle. Okay, then the length of chord AB is equal to the radius of the circle. Now here in this figure, there are two radii, that is OA and OB. Okay, so the length of OA and OB is equal to AB. Clear? Then find the measure of each of the following. That is, we have to find the measure of angle AOB, angle ACB, we have to find arc AB and arc ACB. Clear? Now as I told you that since they have given that chord AB is equal to the radius, we know that OA and OB are the radii of the circle. So they are congruent. Clear? Then chord AB is equal to the radius. That tells us that AB equal to OA equal to OB. Okay. Now if all this, it forms a triangle and all the sides of a triangle are congruent. So it is what type of triangle? Triangle OAB is an equilateral triangle. Okay. Now we know one property of an equilateral triangle, that is all the angles of an equilateral triangle are congruent and their measure is equal to 60 degree. Okay. Therefore, each angle AOB, angle ABO and angle OAB, they are 60 degree each. And we are asked to find angle AOP. So we can straight away write, therefore the measure of angle AOB is equal to 60 degree. Reason, angles of an equilateral triangle. Clear with this? Now this is the first part what we had to prove. Now second thing what we have to prove is, we have to find measure angle ACB. Now if you look at the figure, measure angle ACB here is an inscribed angle. Clear? So and one more thing, that angle AOB is a central angle. Clear? Now since we know the property of an inscribed angle theorem, that is angle ACB is half of AB. Okay, so that we are using here, angle ACB is equal to half of AB. Okay, so if you want, I will write it here. Angle ACB is half of measure arc AB. Clear? Now, as I told you that angle AOB is a central angle, and we have studied the property that this central angle, angle AOB, is equal to this minor arc, measure arc AB. Okay, so two properties here. Inscribed angle theorem, angle ACB is half of AB, and second definition of minor arc, that is angle AOB is equal to AB. Now if AOB angle is equal to measure arc AB, then instead of this AB we can write angle AOB. Clear? So here in this inscribed angle theorem, angle ACB is equal to half of, we can write angle AOB. Clear? So angle ACB is equal to half of angle AOB. Now this property what is we have derived, I have written directly. Even you can write directly here. That is angle ACB is half of angle AOB. You can note down this in your notebook also. This is a property which is derived from two properties. One is inscribed angle theorem and other is definition of minor arc. Okay, so in your sum, sometimes if you have to use, you can directly use this property, that is, I hope you can see now, that is angle ACB is half of AOB. ACB is half of AOB. I explained you why. Because ACB is half of AB and AOB is congruent to AB. So wherever there is AB, we can put AOB. Angle AOB. So therefore angle ACB is half of angle AOB. So always remember, this inscribed angle is half of the central angle. Clear? So that directly we have written, and the reason, the statement what you are going to write, please understand how you will write. The measure of an angle subtended by an arc at a point on the circle is half of the measure of the angle subtended by the arc at the center. Okay, so you need to write this property and explain that why you have used this. Clear? So the measure of the angle which is subtended by an arc, this AB at a point, this point, is equal to half of the measure of the angle which is subtended at the center. Clear? So when we write this property directly, AOB we know, just now we proved angle AOB is 60 degree. So angle ACB is equal to half into 60. Okay, half of 60 is 30. Therefore angle ACB is 30 degree we got. Clear? Now the third thing what we have asked to prove is arc AB. What is the measure of arc AB? That is simple. We know that angle AOB is equal to measure arc AB by the definition of minor arc. Therefore, whatever is the central angle, that will be the measure of that minor arc. So the central angle AOB is 60 degree. Therefore, this is 60 degree. Therefore, this measure of this minor arc is also 60 degree. That is the third one what is asked to prove. And the fourth one is we have to find measure arc ACB. Look at ACB. It's a major arc. Okay. Now, how we can get this major arc? Again, in the definition of major arc we have studied that the measure of the circle, that is 360 minus measure of the minor arc. We know minor arc, that is 60. So 360 minus 60 will give you the measure of the major arc. Okay, so same thing. We know that the full is 360. So here you can see here measure of the major arc ACB is equal to 360 minus 60, which is equal to 300. Okay, whether you can write by the definition, or you can say that arc ACB plus arc AB is equal to 360 degree. Measure of a circle, reason you can give. And since AB is 60, we can write remaining is 300. So any one method I have written by the measure of the circle method. That is small arc plus big arc, or the minor arc plus major arc is equal to 360. Minor arc is 60. Therefore, major arc becomes 300. And after you find all the 4 answers, you will see I have written all the answers together. So, this is the first, second, third and fourth. So, it's very important that when you conclude your answer, you write the answer in this way. Now, in the second sum, they have given a circle where PQRS, quadrilateral PQRS is a cyclic quadrilateral. PQ is given congruent to RQ. They have given PSR as 110. We have to find measure angle PQR, measure arc PQR, measure arc QR and measure angle PRQ. Okay, now the first thing what we have to find is measure angle PQR. Now if you look at measure angle PQR here, it's an inscribed angle. Clear? Again you will see that it is also a angle of the cyclic quadrilateral. Clear? And we have studied in the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral that the sum of the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. And here the opposite angle we know, that is 110. So we can get this simple. So same thing, quadrilateral PQR is a cyclic quadrilateral. Then therefore by using the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral, we will write the opposite angles, angle S and angle R is plus is equal to here PSR and PQR is equal to 180 degree. Try to write the full name of the angle. Now out of this we know angle PSR is 110. Okay, we substitute and we get the answer, that is measure angle PQR is 70 degree. This is the first thing what is asked to prove. Now second thing we have to find measure arc PQR. Okay, now PQR is the arc which is intercepted by this inscribed angle PSR. Okay, so PSR is the inscribed angle and PQR is the arc which is intercepted. I hope you can see now. So therefore, using inscribed angle theorem, angle PSR is half of measure arc PQR. So here you can see angle PSR is equal to half of measure arc PQR. Okay, PSR is half of PQR, inscribed angle theorem. Now PSR is 110 degree. So we will substitute here, and therefore when we shift this half to the other side, it will be multiplied by 2 and the answer is 220 degrees. That is measure arc PQR. Since PSR is half of measure arc PQR, so PQR will be double. So 220 degree. So measure arc PQR is 220 degree. Next. Now the next third thing what we have to prove is measure arc, we have to find is measure arc QR. Now where is measure arc QR? Here. Okay. Now in the given information they have given that chord PQ congruent to chord QR. Okay. If chord PQ is congruent to chord QR, then we can say arc PQ is congruent to arc QR. We have studied this property. Okay, the theorem also. So if arc PQ is congruent to arc QR, we know PQR, that is 220. So 220 is equal to PQ plus QR. Now PQ and QR are congruent, so we can consider them as X and X. So we can write X and X. X plus X is 220, and accordingly we can find the answer. So same thing is done. You'll see that chord PQ is congruent to QR. Therefore, the arcs are congruent. The reason is arc corresponding to the congruent chords. Okay. So let us consider that PQ and QR as X. So if we consider this PQ arc as X, QR as X, this full just now we found is 220. So X plus X is equal to 220. Therefore 2X is equal to 220. Therefore X is equal to, we got 110. So if X is 110, X we have considered what? We have considered X as arc PQ and arc QR. And we have to find QR. So QR arc is nothing but 110 degrees. And after we find all the four, this is the third one, sorry. Now the fourth one, measure angle PRQ. Okay. So how to find measure angle PRQ? Look at this. Measure angle PRQ. Okay. Now just now what we got that arc, measure arc QR and measure arc PQ is 110. X we got 110. Clear? So this is 110 and this is also 110. Arc PQ is also 110. Arc QR is also 110. Now if we want measure angle PRQ, if you see measure angle PRQ is an inscribed angle and the intercepted arc is PQ. So according to the inscribed angle theorem, angle PRQ is half of measure arc PQ. We know PQ, so we can find PRQ. Clear? So PRQ angle will be half of this 110. So you can see here that angle PRQ is equal to half of measure arc PQ, inscribed angle theorem. Half of 110 is 55 degree. Okay, in this way we get angle, you can see in the figure also, angle PRQ is half of PQ. PQ is 110 and half of that is 55. And after you find all the four answers, you will write the answer together. Third sum is very simple. They have given a quadrilateral is cyclic. Therefore, angle R is given in the form of X, 5x minus 13. Angle N is given also in the form of X, 4x plus 4 degree. We have to find R and N. Okay. So, it's very simple. We just have to use the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral. Here you don't need the figure, because we just have to find R and N, which is given in the form of X. We have to just find the answer. So, write just that the quadrilateral is cyclic, which is given. Therefore, the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral, the opposite angles. So, if MRPN, if you want, you can just draw in rough MRPN. Which are the opposite angles R and N? Is equal to 180 degree. Okay. Reason is given, theorem. Now R is given, N is given. Okay. We'll just substitute those, and then if you see 5x minus 13 plus 4x plus 4. Since there is a addition of these two brackets, we can open the brackets and the signs will not change. You have studied this in algebra. Now 5x and 5x, if we add, we get 9x. 5x plus 4x, sorry, is equal to 9x. X term we can add. And then minus 13 and 4 plus 4 is minus 9. Integers you have studied. So minus 13 and plus 4. Okay, write the sign of greater number and subtract. So minus 9 is equal to 180. Now we are going to shift 9 to the other side. This minus 9 will become plus 9. Okay, so 9x is equal to 180 plus 9 is 189. Now we'll shift multiplied by 9 on other side. It will be divided by 9. Okay, and therefore we get x is equal to 21. We don't have to find x. We have to find R and N, where R is 5x minus 13 and angle N is 4x plus 4. So this x value what we found, we are going to substitute in this. So angle R is given as 5x minus 13. We substitute x as 21. So 5 into 21 minus 13. Okay, 5 into 21 is 105 minus 13. And 105 minus 13 is 92 degree. So angle R is 92 degree we found. Same way we are going to do for N. N is 4x plus 4. X we are going to substitute as 21. So 4 into 21 plus 4. 21 4s are 84. plus 4 is 88. So angle N measures 88 degrees. In this way we found both the answers. As I told you, you write the final answer together. So measure angle R is 92 degree and measure angle N is equal to 88 degrees. Now the fourth sum, you will see the figure. There is a circle with center O. R, S are the points on the circle where they have drawn this chord which is a diameter RS. T is a point which is outside the circle. So RS is a diameter. O is the center of the circle. T lies in the exterior. Prove that RTS, which is not shown, so we have to draw this angle. RTS is an acute angle. That means if we prove that angle RTS is less than 90 degree, we can prove that it is an acute angle. So basically we have to prove that angle RTS is less than 90 degree. Now we have to make some construction in the given figure. First thing is RTS. We have to find less than 90 degree or acute angle. Therefore, we will draw this RTS. Now, when we are drawing this RT intersects the circle at a point. We will take it as M. Okay. And we will draw a perpendicular, that is SM. This SM we will draw. Now, this SM will form this angle RMS. Okay. And RMS angle will be 90 degree because it is the angle which is in the semicircle. Clear? So we have to write all that. So here let segment RT intersect the circle at point M. Then we have to draw MS. Okay. So when we join this MS, you will see that this angle RMS is 90 degree. Because it is the angle which is inscribed in a semicircle. And we have studied that angle which is inscribed in a semicircle. RS is a diameter. So this is a semicircle. This angle which is inside or inscribed in a semicircle is always a right angle or 90 degree. So we will straight away write angle RMS is 90 degree. Okay. Now if RMS is 90 degree, that is SM is perpendicular to RT. If SM is perpendicular to RT, this both angles are 90 degree. Clear? Now if you see this triangle here, SMT, it becomes a right angle triangle. Correct? Now in this triangle SMT, we have to prove this angle is a acute angle. But we know that if we add the three angles of a triangle, it is 180 degree. Therefore, angle SMT plus angle MTS plus angle TSM is equal to 180 degree. Clear? So that we have written here. Triangle TMS is a right angle triangle. Okay. When we add the three angles, it is equal to 180 degree. Now out of this, TMS is 90 degree. Okay. Because we proved that it is perpendicular. SM is perpendicular to RT. So SMT or TMS is 90 degree. Okay. MTS and TSM we don't know. So we keep it as it is. Now we shift this 90 degree to the other side. So what we get, angle MTS plus TSM is equal to 180 minus 90 is equal to 90. So we get this statement. That is angle MTS plus angle TSM is 90 degree. Now we will see in the figure which are these two angles. Angle MTS, I will show you here with the, see here, angle MTS plus angle TSM, that is this angle. So these two angles is equal to 180 degree. If we consider that both these angles are 180 degree, okay, then both the angles are less than 90 because their addition only is 90 degree. If their addition is 90 degree, therefore they both have to be less than 90 degree. And therefore we prove that angle MTS is less than 90. If MTS is less than 90, that means RTS also is less than 90 because MTS and RTS are one and the same angle. Okay. So that we will write here. If MTS plus angle TSM is equal to 90 degree, both the angles addition is 90 degree, Therefore, both the angles have to be less than 90. Now, when it can be 90 degree, if one angle is 0 degree, then other angle can be 90. So, 0 plus 90 degrees. But we can see here, the angles are seen here. They are not 0 degree angles. Okay, so we cannot take 0 degree. So, therefore, both the angles will be acute angle. Then only their sum we will get as 90 degree. So, MTS is 90 degree. Now, MTS and RTS are the same angles. MTS and RTS are the same angle because R dash M dash T betweenness. Okay, and that is asked to prove. Clear? Therefore, angle RTS is an acute angle. Now, the fifth sum, prove that any rectangle is a cyclic quadrilateral. They have not given the figure. Okay, and just one statement, and we have to prove that any kind of rectangle, any rectangle is a cyclic quadrilateral. For that we don't need a figure. Now they have given that there is a rectangle. So we will consider that quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle. If ABCD is a rectangle, then their angles are 90 degree. Clear? We know the property of a rectangle that all the measure of all the angles of a rectangle are 90 degrees. So, we will write angle A is equal to angle B is equal to angle C is equal to angle D equal to 90 degree. Okay, angles of a rectangle. Now, what we know that in a rectangle, if you see here, if you want I can draw here A, B, C, D. Now, in this rectangle, angle A plus angle C is equal to 90 plus 90, which is equal to 180 degree. So, if you take the opposite angles of a rectangle and if you take their sum, it is equal to 180 degree. Same way with the other also. Angle B plus angle D is equal to 90 plus 90, 180 degree in a rectangle. Now, this property, that is the sum of the opposite angles. The sum of the opposite angles is equal to 180 degree. This property is of cyclic quadrilateral. So, if the rectangles also have the same property, then every rectangle is a cyclic quadrilateral or is cyclic. And this we prove by the converse of cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Because in converse, it is the same thing that first they give that the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are supplementary and therefore the quadrilateral is cyclic. So, by using the converse of cyclic quadrilateral theorem, we will say since in a rectangle also the sum of the opposite angles are supplementary, we will say that the quadrilateral is cyclic. So, it's a short proof. We are writing proof because they have asked us to prove and therefore we will begin with proof. We will not write solution. Okay. Homework. Complete the sums solved in this video in your notebook. Thank you.